Tonight is the second presentation of the Baseball Writers' new Red Medal, which honors someone in baseball who's provided invaluable service to the game, like Cardinals Hall of Famer Red Schoendienst, after whom the award is named. But tonight's winners are a family affair. Since gaining ownership of the Cardinals before the 1996 season, the group led by Bill DeWitt Jr. has set the gold standard for Major League Baseball. With Bill DeWitt Jr. as chairman and Bill DeWitt III as team president, the Cardinals have drawn more than 3 million fans in 17 of the last 18 seasons and have made the playoffs 12 times in the last 16 seasons, winning 9 divisional titles and tying for another in that span. Included are entries in 4 World Series, 2 of which the Cardinals won in 2006 and 2011, and a recent run of 4 straight appearances in the National League Championship Series. Surely much of the Cardinals' success under the DeWitt's guidance has something to do with bloodlines, about 100 years' worth. William O. DeWitt and brother Charlie were involved with the Cardinals as early as 1916 and later were part of the ownership group of the Browns. Unlike some other St. Louis professional franchise owners who will go unnamed but not unloathed, the DeWitts are a key part of the St. Louis fabric. The rest is history, as they say, as the following video will attest.
The story of the DeWitt family's involvement in Major League Baseball started humbly a century ago in North St. Louis in 1916. At the age of 14, William O. DeWitt Sr. went to work as a soda vendor at Sportsman's Park. His hard work at the park was noticed, and he soon found himself working for the Cardinals' business manager, Branch Rickey. DeWitt would work with Rickey for 20 years, helping to oversee the farm system and as team treasurer. In 1936, Bill DeWitt moved over to the St. Louis Browns to become general manager. He had to be creative with player personnel because the Browns were always struggling to compete with the bigger markets. In 1944, DeWitt's Browns reached the World Series against his former team, losing to the Cardinals in the Streetcar Series. For his part in building the Browns' only pennant winner, DeWitt was named Executive of the Year by the Sporting News. In 1949, Bill DeWitt and his brother Charlie became majority owners of the Browns. They would eventually sell the team to the legendary Bill Veeck. Bill DeWitt Sr.'s career eventually took him to key positions with MLB Commissioner's Office, the Yankees, the Tigers, the Reds, and the White Sox. The Reds won the NL Championship in 1961 under DeWitt's leadership, making him the first GM in baseball history to win pennants in both the National and American leagues. He also signed Pete Rose and Johnny Bench to the Reds. And when he sold the team in 1966, the ownership group included his son, Bill DeWitt Jr. Bill DeWitt Jr.'s roots in baseball go back to his early childhood. He remembers literally growing up at the ballpark and can vividly recall the day in 1948 when he met the immortal Babe Ruth during a visit to Sportsman's Park. When his father owned the Browns, Bill Jr. served as the team's bat boy, and his uniform was worn by Eddie Goodell during his famous pinch-hitting appearance in 1951. Bill Jr. worked for the Cincinnati Reds during his summers in college and graduate school, and full-time for the Reds from '65 through '69. In 1989, Bill DeWitt Jr. teamed up with his former business partner George W. Bush and became a minority investor in the Texas Rangers. He later invested in the Baltimore Orioles for a few years in the early 90s, before he led the group that purchased the St. Louis Cardinals from Anheuser-Busch in 1996. Bill has served 20 years as the principal owner and CEO of the Cardinals. He is chairman of the Major League Baseball Executive Council and serves on numerous MLB committees. He is on the board of the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown and led the effort to select Rob Manfred as the new commissioner of baseball last year. Bill DeWitt Jr.'s son, Bill DeWitt III, was also introduced to baseball at an early age and has been involved with the game in various roles over the last 2 decades. When he first joined the Cardinals in '96, DeWitt III was involved in several merchandising, marketing, and operational projects, including overseeing an effort to refresh the team's logos and uniforms. He was involved in the planning for Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter, Florida. His next big project was to oversee the design and construction of the new Busch Stadium, which opened in 2006. In March of '08, Bill DeWitt III was named president of the St. Louis Cardinals. He has led efforts to develop Ballpark Village, the retail entertainment project adjacent to Busch Stadium, One of the anchor tenants, Cardinals Nation, is the first ever team-owned facility across from a ballpark that features a restaurant, retail store, Hall of Fame and museum, and a ticketed seating deck with spectacular views of the field.
For the first time since 1982, St. Louis has a World Series winner.
During the 20 years the DeWitts have run the Cardinals, the team has prospered on and off the field. The Cardinals have the third best winning percentage in the game. They have made the playoffs 13 times, winning 4 NL pennants and 2 World Championships. They have surpassed 3 million in attendance 17 of the past 18 seasons. And through Cardinals Care, they have built over 21 local ball fields and given over $20 million to youth programs in St. Louis. From soda vendor to owner, William DeWitt's career in baseball lasted more than 60 years. His son and grandson have continued his legacy and made their mark on one of baseball's greatest franchises. And with their ongoing commitment to sustaining that success in the future, it is fitting that we honor this family with the second annual Red Schoendienst Award for invaluable service to the game of baseball.
And now you can keep standing, if you will, because nearly 93 years young, here is Red Schoendienst.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here this evening, and I'm very happy and pleased to give this medal to Billy Jr. Baseball, without these guys, I knew his dad, Billy Sr.'s dad. We had dinner a lot of times in St. Petersburg, Florida, when he owned the Browns. He had a place down there, and he'd invite Stan and I down for dinner so many times. So I've been pretty familiar with the DeWitts, and I'm so happy tonight to present this medal to Billy Jr.
If both Bill DeWitts would come to the microphone, please.
Well, Gentlemen, let's start with this question. Mr. DeWitt, what does it mean to you to receive an award named for that man, Red Schoendienst?
Well, you couldn't ask for a better award than the Red Schoendienst Award. As Red said, he was a great friend of my dad's and my parents, and he and his family, and he really represents the face of the Cardinal franchise, has for many years, been with the team so long, so it's a great honor to receive that award. And I want to thank the baseball writers for putting this on. It's some great memories up there, and I really appreciate them awarding us this honor tonight.
100 years that your family has been involved. What do you remember from those early days?
Well, that's a good question. I was lucky to grow up in a baseball family, and back when I was a kid, you didn't have the crowds and the staff and all of that, but I always would go on the field, and my father would have me out there as a bat boy, and I'd play pepper with some of the players. They were always good to me, and so it's just a great thrill to be part of it.
What an organization this is. I want to start with you on what happened the other night at Scottrade Center. Was that not something, dropping the puck with Tom Stillman?
Yeah, I want to thank Tom for coming up with that idea. He said, we should do something just symbolic to say that, we're recommitting to St. Louis. And I was shocked. I mean, we walked out there and the place exploded, and then they started chanting, but that's for another story. But we appreciated the love, and it was just, it felt bigger than me or anything. It just was a show of support for St. Louis and sports.
The growth of this organization, it's ever changing. It's always growing, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, when you look at some of the old pictures of when my grandfather was involved with the Cardinals, you know, there was probably a dozen people, and now we're 300 plus, and continuing to grow and expand and do things like Ballpark Village, and you know, get involved in our minor league system, and so it's growing, but that's what makes it fun for me, and to make my career in the game. Given that it's growing like that, it stays exciting.
Your thoughts on tonight, recognizing not only the 2006 team, but the 2015 team, and looking ahead to a solid 2016 roster?
Well, no question about it. The 2006 team really gave us great thrills, and I was asked today at the winter warm-up, what are some of your great memories? And clearly, you know, the first one I started off was with the NLCS in 2006, and of course the World Championship that got closed out here. But we've had so many over the years. It's been great. 2015, what can you say? Won 100 games. No team was banged up more than our team, with key players throughout the season, and you know, it was just a great year. 2016, I think, you know, Mo's done a great job in improving the club for next year, adding a few pieces here or there, and you know, unfortunately, Lance Lynn, we lost for the year, but came back and signed Mike Leake. So we're very excited, and I know these guys behind me are ready to go.
Let's go play.
Sounds good.
Let's hear it for Bill DeWitt Jr. and Bill DeWitt III.